Welcome back to session 3 of the marriage course. It's great that you're all with us. It's great that you followed us this far. So today we're going to be talking about the deepest needs in marriage, the stuff that gets up and personal. And I don't know, but we all have needs. We all have that stuff that makes us feel loved. It makes us feel, the bubbly inside. And Celia, tell us about this. How can we know what our deepest needs are?
What we've found is the Love Languages book, the book on love languages, helped us so much. It helped us to recognize the things that we find important ourselves, and also to realize that my spouse does not have the same kind of needs as I do. We find we have like different priorities when it comes to different needs. And it helps you in a great way so that you know how to better do something nice for your spouse that he will really appreciate. Yes, it was just a good read. It helps you to do introspection and find what your own needs are as well.
Tell us about it. So not only do we need to actually understand what they are, but how do you know what yours are? So Joseph, if we start with you, what are your deepest needs? How did you come to that process of knowing what your deepest needs are?
Well, we've discovered it through the book of the 5 love languages. So there's actually 5, and everyone have one or more of these predominant ones. So the first one is touch. The second one is time, spending time together. The third one is gifts. The fourth one is word of affirmation, and the fifth one is service. Now my personal one, first two, that's mostly my need through those 5 is service and touch. Through that's where I get satisfied, where my needs are fulfilled. Obviously there's other needs as well, but if Ancella do those 2 things, it touches my personality and the needs and the longing that I have for that. So we really encourage people, if they can discover that, that will be fantastic, and we can facilitate people through a questionnaire that people can do to help them to discover that, because it is so powerful, because then it means that we actually speak directly into the needs of the other person, of your spouse.
And have you found, and Celia, what are your love languages, or what are the things that are your deepest needs?
Yes, I also obviously discovered it when I read that book. And for me, it is touch, number 1. It's the most important thing, so I always want a hug. It's great for me if we're holding hands. And yes, and the other thing that's important for me is to spend time. I want Joseph to spend time with me. And it must be time where he really is not busy in his head with something else. It must be undivided quality time.
Yeah.
That is what I need.
So you've both learnt what your own ones, of course you've heard from the other what their needs are, and of course you're blessed to have touches the same, but not every spouse has that. I know Diana and I, we have different ones. She's time and time together in service, whereas I'm touch and just this whole presence, gifts. How would you reconcile if 2 people are watching it, like in my situation, that their love languages don't exactly match? How would you deal with that? How could couples, what would be your advice to them?
It doesn't matter. It doesn't matter at all. It doesn't need to be the same. The key is to address the need of your spouse. And you know what? It's almost like if you have the 5 needs here and you have the 5 needs here, obviously there's 1 or 2 predominant ones. But the more you address the need of your spouse, the predominant ones of your spouse, and she address your needs, then you start moving close and you become this bond. Because once you do that, that is when fulfillment comes in.
Yep.
She addressed my needs, my predominant needs, there's fulfillment. And the same too when I do that to Ancella. So if I now focus on her main love language, the things that she needs from me, it makes a huge difference. And she does the same thing to me. Then we feel closer, we feel appreciated, we feel that there's a connection, and we want to do more things for one another. And then later on, it becomes natural. It's natural for us just to hug and touch and kiss in the neck and all those sort of things. It becomes natural. It's natural for Ansela to go and make me a coffee or those sort of things, to speak into one's love language.
Yeah.
But the important thing is to start to know what it is, and then to actively work on the other one's love language, and it will become natural later on.
Powerful stuff, yes. But also thinking more than just obviously knowing each other's needs, knowing the deepest part of each other, but what would you find is important as a husband and as a wife? How can, in the role of a husband, a role of a wife, how can we be there to help with our spouse's needs?
Yeah. I think if I can speak from a pure man perspective, husband perspective, there are 2 or 3 core needs other than the love languages now that a husband wants in a marriage. And I'm convinced that it's common across all men.
Yep.
And maybe the sequence is a bit different. The first one for me is I want a playmate. Now let me explain what I mean by that. I need a camaraderie. I need someone that I can enjoy life together, that we can have dreams together, we tackle things together, and we just journey together, share my life together. The second thing, and for a lot of men, this is the first need, and it's nothing wrong with that, is I can have all my needs fulfilled through my friends. But there's one need that only my wife can fulfill, and that is sexual intimacy. And that belongs purely in the relationships, in marriage. And if I'm sexually fulfilled through my marriage, I have no need to look anywhere else. And please, men, understand that intimacy is not what you see on TV and in Hollywood. It's nothing like that. Intimacy is through close, intimate relationship. And men, because we are physical, want that sexual intimacy with your wife. That is just the way it is. But it works both ways. Yeah. I need to fulfill her needs, which she can talk about now, before she can naturally give me this other need. And again, it's the same thing. If I address the other need, her need, then we move closer and it becomes natural. And that is so key. And maybe Ansela can share what is her other needs that is so crucial, important for her.
Yes, for me, my greatest need in marriage is to feel loved. And to feel loved means that when I feel loved, when I feel loved, I know that Joseph cares about me. I know that he will do nothing to harm me. I know that I am safe. I know that, yes, that he will always take me into consideration in every decision. Yes, and so it is a safe environment for me to know that he loves me. It also means that he will be faithful to me. So actually, just that one thing covers everything.
Yeah.
I have one tip for men. If you want a happy life, make sure you have a happy wife.
That's awesome. Yes. But also, as we see as Lighthouse, we also have this thing called the table. And we really have seen, and I think you would agree, that the table has been one of the best things for a happy marriage. That you spend one day a week together around the table, having a meal, and that you have that time to invest into your marriage, to learn the needs of each other. And of course, as a result, you will get that intimacy that you both desire. So as the encouragement is, check out the table guides. It's a great place to start, as well as the love language book that Josephine and Celia shared. So that is the segment for the deepest needs. Thank you for joining us, and we would love to see you for the next part, and we'll see you there.